Almost exactly 2 years to the day the then undisputed highest-rated show on cable television in Raw at its peak run debuted on TNN in the most commercially hyped broadcast in its history. The landscape from September 2000 to 2002 completely changed not only for the wrestling industry but for the company's standing in the TV world in general from just earlier in the year, with the last 2 weeks seeing both hours of Raw which averaged around 4.4 million viewers, for the first time since entering the peak of the boom period 4 years ago, barely getting into the top 10 highest-rated shows of the week on cable television in a list that the show used to dominate in unprecedented numbers, with usually both hours taking the top 2 spots in the rankings on most weeks by several million viewers margin. Looking to pick things up with a usual post-pay-per-view bump on the night 24 hours after Unforgiven to open with a 3-way match for the women's title, booking the match to open the show after originally advertising it for last Monday before scrapping it from the broadcast on short notice due to reported timing issues, kicking off right at the recent average with a 3.2 rating before picking up stronger than usual in the second quarter for Eric Bischoff after footage of last night's Rikishi swerve was shown by Booker and Goldust minutes earlier, coming out for the response with Eric before getting to the issue, announcing the latest change to the brand split concept, saying that he got a call from Vince McMahon's office that there would be no more jumps between the brands to establish both rosters going forward, hyping him getting a last-minute deal to debut later in the show before calling out his Raw roster for not coming out to help and in particular Booker for laughing at him earlier, setting up a promo exchange interrupted by Rosie and Jamal with Booker vs Rico booked for later tonight, bumping Raw to a 3.6 rating with over 4.8 million viewers. With the deal all but confirmed since last month with a double sellout on back-to-back nights for the first Raw and SmackDown TV tapings in the market, the company officially announced Safeco Field in Seattle as the venue for WrestleMania in March 30, 2003, with a major press conference in the city set to feature almost every available top name announced for tomorrow morning to start the hype for tickets going on sale in the next month, with Raw continuing with the strong first-hour growth to enter the 5 million viewers range between 9:30 to 45, with a location segment seeing Christopher Nowinski in his last appearance before being written off for jaw surgery, calling out Tommy Dreamer for the first-ever classroom brawl, bumping Raw to a 3.9 rating, followed by the reveal of Eric's last-minute new signing before McMahon's deadline, with Jim Ross introducing Randy Orton with major hype built as a strong signing for the brand, with Orton alongside Lesnar targeted to be the standout future headliner from the 2000 OVW group for over a year, put over big by JR throughout as the second third-generation wrestler in company history, after Rock saying that if Orton would be anything like the first one he will be something special, with Orton in his Raw debut going 6 minutes against Stevie Richards to strong results, with his match ending up in the most watched quarter of the night, with Raw again peaking already in the first hour with a 3.9 rating and over 5.2 million viewers, featuring along with Orton vs Richards a Union Underground performance of Raw's new Across the Nation theme song, with the first hour overall totaling over 4.8 million viewers in the most watched hour of Raw in 3 weeks. Ric Flair turning heel on Van Dam to join Triple H was the big headline for the Raw side coming from the Unforgiven pay-per-view, with Flair after legitimately dealing with confidence issues in the past several months, with the storyline of Hunter looking to fire him up to remind him of his status in the industry playing off the legit situation, joining him on and off screen to create the new top heel partnership on Raw, with Flair back in his natural position as a top heel in a high-profile character spot to rebuild his reputation, with the challenge of now creating credible top baby faces to challenge them following Van Dam, with the most likely one in the near future, and Shawn Michaels commenting on his potential return for the SummerSlam match follow-up, confirming that he probably still has at least one more high-profile match in him, with the hint of it taking place at WrestleMania 19, with Flair in his heel-turn promo bringing up dealing with his personal issues while talking about his role as Hunter's mentor, saying that he's gonna teach him everything he knows to in the process end his career on top, with the top of the hour quarter despite the proven draw of a promoted Flair promo in a segment which also saw Van Dam, Hunter and Bubba running in to set up a tag match for the main event, showing Raw's recent struggles again with the guaranteed pickup spot losing viewers for the second straight week. Jericho vs. Goldust for the IC title was next, going 7 minutes to continue the show's recent second-hour slide even without a bump at the top of the hour, with Jericho, who now after being elevated by Rock over a 5-month program, going a full circle back to working secondary title matches less than a year later, responding to comments of him being politically buried with his recent positioning in the company in a series of radio interviews, saying that he has no issues with his current push as he has the ability to retain his credibility as a major player despite doing constant jobs, including him going as far as suggesting to McMahon losing to the rookie Cena in his pay-per-view debut match at Vengeance, with Jericho's perhaps most talked about comment due to the publicized heat between them over the past 3 years saw him being the first one to publicly criticize the decision to hand Triple H the world title, saying that he thought the way it was done was a terrible move and he would say the same to Vince's face when he gets the opportunity, bringing up the talk of escalating heat on Hunter's political maneuvering on the Raw brand, with him now for the first time getting the chance to lead the roster as the top guy with all the higher profile names either off television or currently on SmackDown, with Raw next after the Randy Orton jump seeing another last-minute trade with Hurricane revealed as Kane's new tag partner, going over Christian and Storm to win the tag titles in a surprise title change, closing the second hour before the main event tag match with the Booker vs. Rico match set up earlier to see the show overall averaging a 3.6 rating in both hours, with slightly less viewers in the second, ending up with a tag match advertised for next Monday, with Eric booking Booker and Goldust against Rosie and Jamal for September 30th in Booker's hometown in Houston. After the mega hype from the network for the CSI debut last Monday, the first episode, which was advertised for 11 p.m. to potentially get Raw's lead in audience and ended up starting at 11:08 due to Raw's overrun, drew a 1.2 rating and an almost half a rating point increase over the previous airings of Star Trek in the time slot, and a disappointing number after the massive hype for months, with the network paying a total of over $70 million with $1.6 million for 44 episodes of the series, while also making it less than a third of the viewership watching the Hunter vs. Hardy match to close Raw, with no major crossover between the audiences, with TNN, which unlike last week updated its timing to now advertise CSI for 11:05 p.m., again showing a banner for the show coming next throughout Raw's entire main event, with the bottom screen notifications shown for the last 13 minutes of the live broadcast, seeing Hunter and Flair teaming for the first time as the new top heel act of Raw, going 7 minutes against Bubba and Van Dam in the main event, continuing the pattern developing since the start of the month, with the overrun again barely resulting in any viewership bump to only pick up slightly to a near-show average 3.7 rating, ending up with Flair pinning Bubba for the finish, followed by Hunter and Flair being laid out post-match, with Raw coming off Unforgiven and mostly on the back of a stronger than usual first hour, increasing from the 4-year lows of the past 2 weeks to a 3-week high of a 3.6 rating with 4.8 million viewers.